Okay, here is a really good test review warm-up. At the top, these are the formulas that are going to be at the top of your test that you do not have to memorize. All the other antiderivative rules you have to know. So we're going to pause the video here for you to try the 3 problems, and then I will reveal the answers and show you the work. Okay, so here are the 3 different answers. So let's start with number 1. The capital F means antiderivative. So to find the antiderivative, we're going to do the power rule. Bring down the coefficient, add 1 to your exponent divided by the new exponent. Bring down the coefficient, add 1 to the exponent divided by the new exponent. The constant becomes 2x, and then we have plus c. But then what the f of 1 is saying is plug in 1. Let me just simplify the equation first. That's going to be x to the 5th plus 2x to the 3rd plus 2x plus c. So when we plug in 1, we get 1 to the 5th plus 2 times 1 to the 3rd plus 2 times 1 plus c. And when we add those values up, we get 5 plus c. Okay, for number 2, before I do any antiderivative work, I want to fix this all over 7. That looks really funny. So I'm going to make it 3/7 sine of x plus 4/7 x to the 3rd dx for the integral. That way I now see my coefficients. So when I go to do the antiderivative, the coefficient carries down, and then the antiderivative of sine is negative cosine. So negative cosine x plus the 4/7 carries down, add 1 to the exponent divided by the exponent, plus c. And then simplifying the middle term here, these 4's can simplify and be 1. And then in my final answer, I just put the cosine part in the middle versus in the front, but it is the same thing. Okay, and lastly for number 3, this one's actually a trickier problem because we have a function 5x inside the cosine function. So for number 3, we're going to have to do the u substitution process to find the derivative, the antiderivative. So the inside part is my u. So when I replace that, we get cosine of u dx. I can't mix variables, so I have to replace this dx. So I'm going to take the derivative of the u and manipulate this around so that I can replace dx. And I'll divide both sides by 5. So du over 5 is dx. So instead of dx, I'm going to write du over 5. Well, now there's a 1 in the numerator, and what I'm going to do is take that coefficient of 1/5 and write that in the front of my problem. Here's that 1/5. And now I can do the antiderivative. The coefficient carries down. The antiderivative of cosine is sine plus c. And then as a last step, I'm going to plug back in the u that we chose in the very beginning up here, which is 5x.